Hello. You're probably wondering why I was running just now, and it's because this laptop has something very special on it from China. And I know it may be hard to tell from looking at me, but I'm not from China. But it's okay, because even if they find me, I've got the perfect disguise. Yeah, I'm a real chode. If you know anything about the Plants vs. Zombies franchise, it's probably that we don't talk about Replanted. But if there's a second thing, it's that PvZ for some reason is massively popular in China. Yeah, the country that seemingly finds a reason to ban almost every video game under the sun loves this series, and I couldn't tell you why. Maybe Walnut is a raging communist. But unfortunately, 99% of these Chinese exclusive PvZ games are completely lost to time, which in some cases might be a good thing, because talking about this one might get me put on a list. But there is a single Chinese exclusive Plants vs. Zombies game that is still available to play in 2025. Plants vs. Zombies 2 China. Wow, what a great name. That would be like me calling this channel Lucas England. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, but that's just PvZ2. I've played that game at least 41 times, and to that I say you have a serious problem. But also that you couldn't be more wrong. But don't take my word for it, anyone who's even heard of this game knows how much of an acid trip it is. So I won't waste any more of your time. In fact, I won't even dwell on the content you already know from international PvZ2. So to make a long story short, how did I beat Ancient Egypt? Cactus. How'd I beat Pirate Seas? Cactus. How'd I beat Wild West? Nukes. And Cactus. And yes, I have Cactus without spending any money. Buckle the hell up. This world wastes no time introducing us to the scariest gimmick in the whole PvZ series. Benches. Yeah, sure, zombies can use these to pick up things like torches and flags, but I don't know, guys, this just seems like Ancient Egypt with extra steps. Day 2 introduces the first new plant, Fire Gourd. Aw, look at him. What happens if we oh my god. Oh yeah, and hammer zombies are here too, I guess. But like the old saying goes, don't bring a hammer to a fire. Day 3 introduces these yin and yang tiles, but I'm not exactly sure what they do. Maybe I need to catch up on my Plants vs. Zombies Pinion Adventure lessons. Then on day 4 we get this absolute Chad who chugs a whole Monster Energy and then becomes that one episode of Mystic Force. Day 5 introduces the next new zombie, Old, and this coffin dodger uses the dark arts to pull our plants closer, so we naturally have to counter him with the only known weakness of the dark arts, a radish. Day 7 introduces these explosive barrels that can be lit by torch zombies, so naturally we counter that with a stick of bamboo. Day 8 introduces a zombie with a bomb. What else do you want me to say? Day 9 has this black hole gimmick, but I guess someone didn't know that radishes are immune to black holes. I mean, come on, everyone knows that. Day 10 introduces these zombies with gongs. Again, not much to say here. He just has a gong, and it summons another zombie. Day 11 has a new plant introduced to us, the Heavenly Peach. It heals plants. And that's it. Day 12 has torch zombies, but they spin now. Okay. Day 13 introduces this world's gargantua, and admittedly, these are pretty cool. Day 15 brings us 2 new zombies. Ooh, feeling risky today, eh, China? These new zombies are Drunk and Sword Man. And then day 16 introduces Nunchuck Man. You notice how most of these new zombies give me nothing interesting to say about them? That's kind of the overarching theme and problem of this world. None of the gimmicks stand out, it just feels unpolished. And I know that's a word that is always used to describe this game, but actually having played it now, I get it. So unfortunately, this first new world hasn't exactly made the best impression on me, but this was the one I was least excited for, so hopefully it's only up from here. But before I move on, I should mention that at this point, I decided to skip the rest of the international PvZ2 worlds in favour of just playing the new ones. Mostly because I want this video to come out before my 40th birthday. This is the world I was easily the most excited to play when I started this game, and right off the bat we are introduced to the core gimmick of the world. Half of the lawn has been replaced with, well, nothing. So we can't plant there anymore, but to combat against this new obstacle, we are given... What is that? Day 2 introduces the first new zombie in this world, a child driving a plane. Great parenting, I must say. Day 3 lets us use the saucer, and it sure is a flying saucer, alright, except this tractor beam doesn't work. But that's not all, because we also get to use the horse bean, which spits peas at the zombie, not to be confused with spitting pee at the zombie, because that one will get you arrested.
Alrighty? No!
Then on day 5, the Hindenburg shows up and decides to start dropping children like it's a mum in a third world country. Then the next thing you know, we're dropped into a turret level like it's bloody Trap Team.
Oh, let's go on, he's right there, let's go on!
But we do get rewarded with a new plant for beating it, the swirling loquat. What, that's what Google Translate told me it was called. And then we get to try it out on day 7 against these new double plane enemies. And it's basically that stupid UFO from earlier, except it actually does something. Day 8 showcases 2 new plants, the Aniferi anus and the asparagus. Both of these plants are honestly pretty cool, even if this one looks like a boil. Next thing I know, this game is telling me to rub this plane. I have no idea what's going on half of the time in this world, but I kinda love it. Seriously, I'm not even halfway through yet, and this is already such a huge step up from the last world. I'm unironically loving this. Good job, China. Okay, I might have to take that back, because we've just reached our first air raid level. I've heard some horror stories about how difficult these levels can be, but honestly, this first one wasn't too bad. Just as long as you pick the right starter Pokemon. Day 13 turns the game into a more traditional tower defense game, and good luck figuring this one out without Google Translate, because how am I meant to figure out that I'm meant to use this shovel on a box? Day 14 gives us another plant, a fat pineapple that eats bullets like a drunk man in a pub eating crisps. Day 15 is the usual Gargantua level, which was unremarkable outside of the Sky City Garg having the single greatest death animation I've ever seen in a game. Day 16 was another air raid level, however it was much harder than the last one. Not as bad as people were telling me, but still a nice jump in difficulty that caught me quite off guard. I still beat it first try though, because I'm the big PvZ, big awesome, big. Day 18 introduces the Cherry Lantern, which is good timing, because the US military is now after us. And unfortunately, that's kind of all there is to say about Sky City, but I'm glad to say that this world was a drastic improvement from the last one, with a fun and unique gimmick that was used extensively on both the plant and zombie side. I'm glad to say that I loved Sky City. And honestly, that feels like a pretty good place to stop for now. I know, there's still more original worlds, but right now I've had just about as much as I can stomach of this game. And besides, the more I talk about it, the more chance I have to upset the Chinese mafia, and that's never something you want to do. Oh great, I spoke them into existence. Look everyone, it's the red. Well, we gotta get out of here, come on! Whoa. Oh god. Ooh. Oh yeah! It's Roto Baker!